Let's take a look at the bright spot.
I'm doing all right, getting good grades. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades.
Lewis, tell me what you think. Tell me if this is a bright spot. Yesterday, the Senate approved a bill that would make Juneteenth a national holiday, and that vote was unanimous. You think that's a bright spot?
I mean, it can be, and it's not because of my opinion about Juneteenth. I just think at some point, when everything becomes a national holiday, nothing is a national holiday. You know, I mean, when you just make everything important, nothing is important.
My thought was that this could be a bright spot, too. I think I emphasis on the word could. Juneteenth, by the way, commemorates the day that blacks in Texas learned they had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on September 22nd, 1862. But slaves in the South didn't find out about it until their region was taken over by Union troops. Now, for Texas, that meant until after the war was over. More than 2.5 years after the proclamation was first signed. So on June 19th, that's where we get the name Juneteenth, June 19th, 1865, when General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas, he had his troops march up and down the streets of Galveston reading General Order Number 3, which said, quote, "The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free."
But I mean, we already celebrate Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
President's Day, yeah.
And I guess where I'm going with that is it kind of all falls under that same umbrella. It's kind of like we're going to celebrate the day that we found out that a man walked on the moon. I mean, it takes the focus away from the impetus for what resulted, what we're celebrating. In other words, it takes attention away from Abraham Lincoln.
It takes attention away from the Emancipation Proclamation. I think we should celebrate September 22nd, not June 19th. But, okay, that's fine. Here's the thing. I think it helps people understand that we really did end slavery in this country. Then it would be a bright spot. If there are some people right now who act like we haven't made any progress since September 21st, 1862. Quite clearly we have, not just with the Emancipation Proclamation, not with just the reading of General Order Number 3, not with just the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, not with the Civil Rights Act, not just the ending of Jim Crow, but in the hearts and the minds of the vast majority of Americans. One of the biggest sins you can commit in this country today is to be a racist. Or to at least be racist against black Americans. There are a lot of people on the left who think it's perfectly acceptable to be racist to whites and Asian people. But that's a different topic for a different day. Here's the problem. And here's why I say this could be a bright spot if we approach it the right way.
It's all political.
When that bill passed the Senate, the leader of the Senate, Democrat New Yorker Chuck Schumer, said this, quote, "Making Juneteenth a federal holiday is a major step forward to recognize the wrongs of the past." Wrong. Juneteenth isn't celebrating the wrongs of the past. It celebrates the moment when we corrected a wrong of the past. It's not a holiday to celebrate or acknowledge failure, but a holiday to acknowledge the moment when we started doing the right thing, the moment we started trying to live up to what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the American Creed, the statement in the second sentence of the Declaration of Independence that says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." If, and only if, we treat this new holiday as a celebration of the righting of past sins, a story of national redemption, then and only then will Juneteenth be a bright spot.
But see, the left, see this country as purely racist, instead of seeing the fact that there was slavery all over the world for centuries before this country was even founded.
For millennia.
But it was the United States of America that ended racism. That's what we ought to be celebrating.
If we follow Chuck Schumer's advice and only focus on the wrongs of the past, Juneteenth will do just as much to improve race relations in America as Barack Obama's presidency did. And that would not be a bright spot in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all.
It's about the way we view it. We've got to view it in the right way for it to have the right effect.